Ladies, let's talk. How many of you have ever settled for less than you deserve? Maybe it was a relationship where you kept making excuses, hoping things would change. Or maybe you've been told you're expecting too much when all you wanted was basic respect. Well, today we're shutting all that down. It's time to stop settling, stop lowering your standards, and start walking in your power. Because let me tell you something, when a woman knows her worth, she becomes unso. If you've been questioning your standards or thinking about giving someone just one more chance, you need to hear this message today. Let's get into it. Step one, you get what you accept. If you keep allowing people to treat you a certain way, they will never feel the need to change. That's the hard truth. See, life doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you accept. And too many women are out here accepting less than they should, hoping that one day things will magically get better. But let's be real. If you don't demand better, you won't get better. Think about it. If a man knows he can come and go as he pleases, never commit, and still have access to you whenever he wants, why would he change? He has no reason to. You've already set the standard that says, I'll be here no matter what. But what if you changed the game? What if you made it clear that inconsistency is unacceptable? That showing up halfway isn't enough? That if someone wants to be in your life, they need to show up fully, consistently, and with real effort? Some of you have been in relationships where you keep forgiving the same mistakes over and over again. Every time he messes up, he apologizes and you take him back. But deep down, you know nothing is really changing. He's just learning that you'll always forgive him, that he can do the bare minimum and still have you, and that's the problem. You've trained him to believe that his behavior is okay because you keep accepting it. This doesn't just apply to relationships either. It's in friendships, in the workplace, in every area of life. If you let people take advantage of you, they will. If you let friends constantly cancel plans, never support you, and only show up when they need something, they'll keep doing it. If you accept a job that underpays you and never ask for more, they'll never offer you more. The truth is, people treat you based on the standards you set for yourself. And if your standard is low, if you allow mistreatment, inconsistency, or disrespect, that's exactly what you'll continue to get. But when you raise your standards, when you say, I will not accept less than I deserve, that's when things start to change. Step two, know your worth. Too many women are walking around not realizing how powerful they really are, not realizing that they bring value, strength, love, and wisdom into every space they enter. And because they don't fully understand their worth, they let people treat them any kind of way. They settle for relationships that drain them, friendships that take more than they give, and jobs that don't recognize their talent. Knowing your worth is more than just saying, I deserve better. It's about truly believing it and acting accordingly. It's about understanding that you are not an option, a backup plan, or someone's last-minute decision. You are the prize. And when you carry yourself with that energy, people have no choice but to respect you. But the problem is a lot of women don't see themselves that way. They've been told for so long that they need to be nice, be patient, be understanding, that they forget to be respected. They're afraid to set boundaries because they don't want to push people away. They stay in toxic relationships because they think love means enduring pain. They accept less than they deserve because they're scared of being alone. But let me tell you something. Being alone is not the worst thing. The worst thing is forgetting who you are just to keep someone who doesn't even appreciate you. When you don't know your worth, you make excuses for people who treat you badly. You tell yourself, maybe I'm expecting too much, when in reality, you're expecting the bare minimum. You tell yourself he'll change when deep down, you know he won't. You convince yourself that if you love someone enough, they'll eventually see your value. But that's not how it works. A man doesn't suddenly wake up and decide to respect you just because you've been patient. Respect is demanded, not begged for. And this doesn't just apply to relationships, it's in every area of life. When you know your worth, you stop begging for friendships where you're always the one reaching out. You stop tolerating a job that overworks and underpays you. You stop shrinking yourself just to make other people comfortable. When you truly know your worth, you stop seeking validation from others because you already validate yourself. You stop explaining why you deserve respect because your presence alone demands it. And the moment you start carrying yourself like you are enough as you are, everything in your life starts to shift. Standards are not negotiable. Standards are not about being picky, difficult, or having too many requirements. Standards are about self-respect. They are about knowing what you deserve and refusing to accept anything less. The moment you start negotiating your standards, you start losing pieces of yourself. You start making exceptions for things you once swore you'd never tolerate. And before you know it, you're living a life that doesn't even feel like yours anymore. The problem is, a lot of women have been taught that having standards makes them hard to love. That if they don't bend, compromise, or accept certain behaviors, they'll end up alone. So they start lowering the bar. They start making excuses for people who don't show up for them. They start settling for relationships that drain them instead of fulfilling them. But here's the truth. Anyone who asks you to lower your standards is telling you they can't meet them. And that's not your problem to fix. A man who truly values you won't test your boundaries. He will respect them. He won't make you question whether you're asking for too much. Because for the right person, the bare minimum isn't even a question. If you have to constantly remind someone how you deserve to be treated, they are not for you. Because when someone genuinely wants to be in your life, they will rise to the occasion. But when you start making exceptions, when you let one little thing slide and then another and then another, you're teaching people that your standards are flexible. And the more flexible you are, the more people will push you. That's how women end up in situations where they're doing all the work in a relationship, where they're being disrespected, ignored, or taken for granted, all because they didn't hold firm on their boundaries from the start. And let's be real, society loves to tell women to be understanding, to give people a chance to compromise. But let's be clear, compromise is about meeting halfway, not about sacrificing your self-worth. If you're always the one adjusting, always the one making things easier for everyone else, always the one who has to be patient while someone figures out how to treat you right, then that's not a partnership. That's a one-sided situation that's only benefiting them. Your standards protect you. They filter out the people who aren't serious. They save you from wasting time on the wrong ones. They remind you that you are worthy of effort, respect, and real love. If someone truly cares about you, they will meet your standards without hesitation. If they don't, then they were never meant to be in your life to begin with. Step 4, patience over desperation. A lot of women make decisions out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of running out of time, fear of never finding the love they truly deserve. And that fear leads to desperation. It leads to staying in situations that don't serve you, holding on to people who don't value you, and convincing yourself that something is better than nothing. But here's the truth. When you move in desperation, you will always settle for less. When you rush into something just because you don't want to wait, you will always find yourself regretting it later. Patience is the ability to wait for what you deserve without lowering your standards in the process. It's trusting that the right person, the right opportunity, the right situation will come when it's supposed to, not when your fears tell you it should. But the problem is, so many women let desperation take control. They meet a man who shows a little attention and suddenly they ignore all the red flags. They jump into relationships with people they barely know just because they're tired of being single. They hold on to toxic situations because they think, what if I don't find anyone better? But when has settling out of fear ever led to real happiness? Desperation makes you accept things you once swore you wouldn't. It makes you overlook the fact that he's inconsistent, that he's emotionally unavailable, that he's not putting in the effort. It makes you tolerate behavior that should have been a deal breaker. And every time you accept less than you deserve, you teach yourself that maybe this is all you'll ever get. You start convincing yourself that maybe you were asking for too much, when in reality you were asking for the bare minimum. Patience, on the other hand, gives you power. It allows you to walk away from situations that don't serve you without feeling like you're missing out. It allows you to trust that just because something isn't happening right now doesn't mean it never will. It keeps you from making decisions that only bring short-term comfort but long-term regret. And let's be honest, society puts so much pressure on women to be in relationships, to get married by a certain age, to settle down before time runs out. That pressure makes a lot of women settle just so they can say they have someone. But what's the point of having someone if that someone doesn't treat you right? What's the point of being in a relationship if you still feel alone? Patience is knowing that what's meant for you won't pass you by. It's trusting that you don't have to chase, beg, or force anything real. It's understanding that waiting for something great is always better than rushing into something that will only bring you pain. Desperation will have you settling for less than you deserve, but patience will position you for what's truly meant for you. Step 5, love yourself first. Too many women are out here searching for love in other people when they haven't even found it within themselves. They're looking for a relationship to complete them, for a man to make them feel beautiful, for someone else to give them the validation they should already have. And that's exactly why they keep ending up in situations where they feel unappreciated, unseen, and unloved, because they're expecting someone else to give them something they haven't given themselves. Loving yourself first isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a requirement. It's the foundation of every relationship you will ever have, because the way you love yourself teaches others how to love you. If you don't see yourself as valuable, others won't either. If you don't set boundaries, others will walk all over you. If you don't prioritize your happiness, others will take advantage of your kindness. When you truly love yourself, You stop waiting for external validation. You stop settling for half-hearted love. You stop accepting the bare minimum just because you're afraid of being alone. But the problem is, most women have been conditioned to believe that love comes from the outside, that they need a relationship to feel complete, that if they're not chosen by a man, they're not enough. So they pour everything into their relationships, trying to be the perfect partner, the perfect girlfriend, the perfect wife, all while neglecting themselves. They ignore their own needs just to make someone else happy. They shrink themselves just to fit into someone else's life. And in the end, they wonder why they feel so lost, so empty, so disconnected from who they used to be. Loving yourself first means putting yourself at the top of your priority list. It means knowing that your happiness is your responsibility, not someone else's job. It means taking care of your mind, your body, your spirit, not because you're trying to impress anyone, but because you deserve to feel good inside and out. It means understanding that you are already whole, already complete, already worthy, whether you're in a relationship or not. And let's be clear, self-love is not just about spa days and treating yourself. It's about self-respect. It's about speaking kindly to yourself, setting boundaries, walking away from anything that doesn't align with your worth. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing that you are enough just as you are, without needing anyone to confirm it for you. When you love yourself first, you stop chasing after people who don't appreciate you. You stop begging for love, attention, and validation. You stop settling for relationships that drain you because you're no longer afraid to be alone. You start making decisions that serve you, that uplift you, that bring you peace. You start attracting people who respect you because you respect yourself first. The love you give yourself sets the tone for every other love in your life. It determines the kind of people you allow into your space, the kind of relationships you entertain, the kind of energy you accept. When you truly love yourself, you don't have to beg for love from anyone else, because you already have it within you. Ladies, listen to me. This is your life, your happiness, your peace, your worth. It all starts with you. The moment you decide that you will not settle, that you will not accept less than you deserve, everything in your life will start to shift. Stop waiting for someone else to validate you. Stop making excuses for people who don't treat you right. Stop lowering your standards just to keep someone around, because the right person, the right opportunities, and the right love will meet you exactly where you stand. So from this moment forward, make a promise to yourself. No more settling, no more negotiating your worth, no more waiting for someone else to complete you. You are already whole. You are already enough. And the day you truly believe that is the day you start living the life you were meant for. Now, go out there and walk like the queen you are, because when you know your worth, the world has no choice but to respect it.